Welcome back to First Take. In case you forgot, it is a Game 6 Friday in New York City. The Knicks are back at the Garden with the chance to close out this series against the Boston Celtics and find themselves back in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since the turn of the century. It's been a minute. Look who is here on First Take, a very familiar Knicks fan, of course. Spike Lee is in the building. We already asked this crew, so now we're going to ask you, what's going to happen tonight?
A W. We're going to win. By hook or crook, we got to do what we got to do. And I don't want to go back to Boston in Game 7. So let's just end it here tonight.
How are they gonna
Have you seen these things outside the Garden after? Imagine, and I know I'm not the first one to say it, but when the Knicks win the NBA championship, they need the National Guard, the Marines. It's going to be...
We've waited a long time.
Too long.
Too long.
Too long.
Too long. I was 5. I was 5 years old.
But the 72, 73, yeah?
You've got to enjoy it. You're too stressed out. You've got to enjoy this opportunity.
Once again, you're not getting it. We've been close before. You got to remember, I had the pleasure, I was at an event at the Disney up fronts the other day. And some young lady walks up to me and she wants to interview me or whatever, and she's on the red carpet and all of that. And she introduced herself afterward. She said, just so you know, I am the daughter of Dave Checketts.
Ooh.
Dave Checketts is the former president of Madison Square Garden, right? In the Knicks.
Put it together.
Right. Now, did he deliver a championship? No. But we all know that's because of Jordan and Olajuwon. Can't forget Olajuwon because the Knicks went there without him and John Starks. I love John. I won't.
Don't bring it up.
I won't bring it up.
Houston and me is
my point is, it's been close. And Checketts did a masterful job of lying to us. He had us convinced at least three times we're going to beat Jordan. He had us convinced. And it didn't happen. So I'm just saying to y'all, please understand.
Who beat him, though? Nobody.
I know, but we should have.
You know where he was born? Brooklyn, right there. Look out the window.
I'm fully
That's
aware.
where Michael was born.
I'm fully aware. He didn't give a damn about that when it came to going up against us.
Spike, I've always loved seeing you courtside, not just at Knicks games, but also at Liberty games. But when it comes to this squad, this iteration of the New York Knicks, who do you think outside of Jalen Brunson is someone that you gravitate towards that can be an X factor?
OG or Josh Hart. But I'm the only one at this table, this esteemed table that was at the Garden May 8th, 1970. I was 13 years old. I was there. 13 years old. My father's lawyer had season tickets.
That's right.
And he would give me tickets during the season. And he says, Spike, if the series goes 7 games, you can go. I saw Willis drag his right foot out. Another thing I'd like to say, I've been to World Cups, Super Bowls. I've never heard a noise as loud when Willis dragged his leg onto that court. And he didn't come out with everybody because back then the needles were like this. So it takes a while for the drug go. And so both teams were doing the layups. And the entire Laker team froze. We're talking about Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and the rest of the team. They froze when they heard that noise and turned around
and watched
saw Willis drag his leg to the free throw line where his first left-handed, his first 2 shots.
That's right.
And then the game, his first 2 shots.
That's right.
Now, Walt Frazier has a different thing. Walt Frazier was
That's all they needed. Walt Frazier took care of the rest.
But he still says he says it lovingly, but it just wasn't. Why is it called the Willis Reed game?
That's right. I'm just saying. It's moments, man. It's moments.
I hope none of the current Knicks is watching this because you're just piling it on. You're piling it on.
Why would you hope? Why would you hope that? You don't want them to embrace the moment?
They got to be confident in thinking that they're going to win tonight's game. This isn't about 1970. This is about 2025.
I totally agree with that, but here's the flip side. There's nothing wrong with embracing urgency. Pressure breaks pipes. What are you made of? What are you made of? Boston showed us in Game 5 they ain't going out like that. We the reigning defending champions. You think you coming into our house with all these Irish pubs everywhere?
Without Tatum,
without Tatum. I don't give a damn we don't have Tatum. You know who we are, and they answered the call. Now it's the New York Knicks' turn. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Wendy.
So I'm curious then, as two people that have seen multiple decades of Knicks basketball, where would you grade this current squad? Because Stephen A is full of anxiety, but I feel like this is a team that has been embraced not just for New York. I'm a basketball fan, and I love what they built off of chemistry.
Agree.
Leon Rose.
I'll let you answer that first. I'll let you answer that first, because I got my answer. You go ahead and say it first. You go and say what you going to say.
Ask me, are the Knicks going to win?
You just said the Knicks are going to win.
Ask me if
are the Knicks going to win?
Is the Pope Catholic? Did the Pope go to Villanova?
Hey,
I can leave right now. I can leave.
There's some anointing now for you guys.
Good energy.
There's some anointing happening over there.
I'm just going to tell you, Jalen Brunson smiled. Jalen Brunson smiled. This is going to calm everybody down. The other night, I don't even know if it was on the broadcast, but on the scoreboard, the game was over. There was a timeout late in the game. Jalen Brunson.
When you talking about in Boston?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Jalen Brunson had fouled out. Jalen Brunson never smiles. He scores 45, he doesn't smile. He hits the game winner, doesn't smile. They put him on the scoreboard in Boston so the fans could boo him.
He waved it.
He smiled at him. Don't you worry about tonight. Jalen Brunson smiled at him. Chill out, buddy.
The Knicks have an opportunity to change my mind tonight. But I have watched them. And I veered back to normalcy when they won games 1 and 2 in Boston, because I did not expect that. With Tatum on the court, with Brown on the court, and they went up 2-0 after 20-point deficits in both games. But I have to tell you, I have spent the vast majority of this season wishing Hartenstein, Randall, and DiVincenzo was still on this team. Because I saw the grit in the New York Knicks last year. And if Brunson doesn't get hurt and Hart doesn't get hurt, okay, I believe the Knicks are in the conference finals last year. I don't believe they lose that Game 7 at home to Indiana.
Fair enough.
Okay? So I'm thinking about that and what they would have been. They would have had more bodies. They would have been more physical. And they would have been more gritty defensively. And because of that, I have spent the vast majority of this season wishing that was the case. Now, when they went in Boston, I'm like, wait a minute here. I'm seeing something. All right. And then obviously Game 4, after losing Game 3, I love that. Okay. Then they get blown out in Game 5. Tonight's the night. I understand there's a Game 7, but my mentality is there is no tomorrow.
Yes.
Take them out now. Right now.
Let me tell you this, though. It might be, we might see our guys in the finals.
I agree. That's what I'm trying to say. If you win the night,
it changes your mind.
If you win the night, listen, I think if you get pushed into a Game 7, it's too much. You're expending too much in a Tom Thibodeau system. I believe you got to end it quick. You got to take them out.
Tonight.
You got to take them out tonight.
In the Garden.
Tonight.
Well, there is a realistic chance, and I didn't want to ask this question, but Stephen A told me I need to. So listen, there is a realistic chance. You got 2 games to win 1. Maybe you do have to go to a Game 7, and you got to go back to Boston. If that is the case, where are the feelings at?
We're winning tonight.
We're winning tonight.
Okay. I didn't even want to ask that. I said, why are we focusing
That's
on
the answer.
He said, I've been
Is that the answer?
too many times.
They're man
Orange and blue skies.
We're winning.
Say it again. Say it
Orange and
again.
blue skies. Orange and blue skies. Listen, we're winning. We're winning tonight. That is the answer to that question.
Okay.
They're winning tonight.
He
Now
is
let me ask
all
this
over
question.
the place.
No, I know he is.
I've never seen him. I've never seen him like this.
I want to ask Spike this question because he's here. About a month ago, Jay Will was on, I think, Get Up, and he said that he thinks Jalen Brunson is on his way to being one of the greatest Knicks of all time.
I think he already is.
Greatest
Ever?
One of.
Oh, yes.
He already is.
The greatest Knicks. Do you agree with that statement?
Willis, Clyde, Bernard King from the time he was there, and Carmelo. Yeah, I think he's our guy. He's putting the whole team on his shoulders. And going back to what you said, my brother, about that smile.
So you,
Boston's not ready for it tonight.
You snapped right to and you said, what was it, May what, 1970?
May 8th, 1970.
You remember it. Today's May 16th, 2025.
55 years.
Jalen Brunson maybe makes you remember May 16th.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something right now. If Jalen Brunson
No if.
propels New York to the championship, he's top 3 Knicks.
Oh, I forgot. I left out
Top 3.
Patrick, too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's top.
Patrick, I'm sorry.
No. We love Patrick. You know, good seeing him
left him
another
out.
day. Good seeing him another day. But here's the point. Here's the point.
tonight.
Here's the point. It's championship is the requirement, of course, because Walt, Clyde, Frazier, and those cats, you can't usurp them when they're the ones that last deliver this championship. But Jalen Brunson, in terms of his play, clutch player of the year, clutch player in the playoffs, by the way, backed it up.
Yep.
Has arrived in New York, okay, and has just taken over. The brother is special, all right? So he's already one of the all-time great Knicks. But if, first of all, he gets to the conference finals, that's more than any modern-day Knick has done. More than any modern-day Knick has done. And if you win the championship, that would be more than Ewing has done.
But also,
That would be more.
he's got to go out there with Aaron Judge as far as New York City.
No doubt. But listen, here's the thing. And this is the other thing. Because I give you a perfect example. Anybody that loves the Knicks, that knows anything about the Knicks, reveres Bernard King. We know injuries derailed that brother because he was something spectacular.
Where's he from?
But he was a
Where's he
one-man
from?
wrecking crew.
Brooklyn out the window.
He was a one-man
Good
wrecking
point to your
crew.
head.
Okay? One-man wrecking crew. But obviously couldn't accomplish with so much. Okay, when we think the most successful Knicks, after you get past Walt, Clyde, Frazier, Earl of Pearl, Monroe, DeBusschere, Bradley, and all of these cats, you go to Ewing. You go to Melo. With Ewing, you couldn't get past Jordan. And then when Jordan retired, you couldn't knock off Olajuwon, even though that wasn't really Ewing's fault, but I won't go there. And then you got Carmelo. Great. But D-Wade and LeBron were together. You understand? Even though you lost to Roy Hibbert and them in Indiana. But we all know how great Carmelo was. But you couldn't get past the semis. You look at Brunson. He get him to the conference finals, man. Yo, he got to be up on that list. And if he gets him to the finals, he really got to be up there. God help us.
You better cancel your podcast, cancel your campaign rally. You better lay in a dark room. You're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it.
I don't know. I'm worried for you.
Here's another reason.
not gonna
I'm not going to make it 8 o'clock.
The
You
Knicks
need to chill out.
I am cool, man. I'm cool.
What?
You are the opposite of
Well,
cool.
let me be very, very clear.
He talks through his feelings.
The
Let's see
game,
how this goes.
the game is tonight. What time the game?
8 o'clock.
8.
There's a countdown before that game. Who's on it? Have you ever seen me not ready to do my job? I will be ready.
Are you born ready?
Born.
Born ready?
Say it if
Let's
it's true.
go.
I will be ready.
Here's
I will be
another
ready.
reason the Knicks want to close this thing out tonight, regardless of whether there's a Game 7 or not. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals is going to start on Wednesday. It doesn't matter.
I will say this to you. You know, COVID and everything like that, you want to keep your distance from the crowd or whatever. I'm kind of rethinking this. I'm kind of thinking I might need to be out there with the peoples. I might need to be outside with the peoples.
Come on.
I might need to be out there with the people's pregame. I might need to do that.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over here,